So a little bit of a difference, oh, not really different, but a subject that's, as we know, I'm also doing the fashion because I technically work on Poshmark, right? Poshmark is like my go-to. So the top you see I'm wearing is actually one of the pieces I had designed a while ago. Hold on a second. Okay, so it's a textile, it's a fashion-like day. And I have been reworking these patterns into a design for Brandon, Cal, and I based it off of, hold on a second, I'm not done yet, but I had to cut the patterns first. So I'm busy cutting the patterns. Eventually it's gonna be a shirt. But I based it off of the starting point to this pattern. One of these days we'll have a bigger place, I guess. And so I don't make the bestest patterns, but I can generally eyeball it sometimes. So this pattern is based off of this, right? But it's still, and I have a pair of pants I should like make here. I haven't made the pants in a while. The brown paper is the pants. You always need rulers, right? Rulers become like a key essential part of the fashion, or else you can't get anything done. Okay. So what we have here is, I know I'm relatively early. I'm just talking. And you can see if I swivel this, I don't think it's, ooh, I had a dizzy moment. That was bizarre. Okay. I'm having some strange dizzy spells. I don't know what the deal is. Okay, and if you see under this over here is actually it's my painting, but it transforms into like a table, like a pattern table, which is important. You need something flat and we don't have a huge space, so we don't have enough space for like a dining room table. My initial plan was I have two large ones like this. These are like my master's thesis notes. This was part of my master's thesis art pieces, but I couldn't bring the whole thing with me, so that's what that is. But this is what I use to cut these. Oops, dropping everything here. So I use that table to, you can see over here, I have my home little like design space. It's not a huge spot. But this is a painting that was generally on the side of the wall that I create for a table on the bed to make my patterns. Okay, so that's what this is. So on occasion I will make garments, and that's basically what that is, because I do fashion as well besides the music, right? The music you hear in the background is my stuff. You can see it was generally on that wall. And then most of the time you guys usually see me over here. You see? Yeah, over there. So you're seeing a full circle of what my space looks like. I don't just do music. I also do, the money comes in with the fashion, right? Oh, thank you. How are you doing? Yeah, so I'm making, I sell these things online, right? This is the kind of stuff I do as well. This is like a bracelet, so I knit these things. So I'm not just doing music, folks. I think people generally come in here and assume that I just do music, but the music is good for the background music and producing and having a little bit of fun, and I did do music, obviously. That was part of what I studied and taught. But the money, if you're wanting to make money, the best place to make money is making your own stuff and making money like that, right? You can reinvest the money, which is what I do, reinvest the money that you earn back into supplies to make stuff. Yeah, this is not it's just, these are actually on my Poshmark. I shouldn't be wearing these, but this is what we have here. So I make things basically. Okay. This is what I like this. It's a very, this crazy the ring that I have here. And then obviously I'm still having to sew this, but this is the pattern that I just finished making, right? So it's not the bestest pattern. It's a top for my partner. I'm still in the process of making it. There was a lot of material. There's still material left, sorry. And then with these pieces, I usually recycle this into, not recycle, but I repurpose those into, because I never like to waste material, right? I repurpose, let me show you what I do with the leftover material. People are like, what are you doing with the knit? But the knit becomes, like if there's enough material, I make these kind of things off of this. So instead of wasting the material, there's another way to repurpose it, and this is how I do it. I make more stuff, right? I make more stuff. And knitting happens to be the thing that I enjoy doing. That's when I had an article at the Smithsonian African Art Library. It was all about projects and developing projects from very little, right? Because I lived in South Africa and I am half South African. Yeah. So when I talk, I have things on my mind and I have to kind of like focus on the agenda. So if I sound as if I'm kind of like talking to the abyss, sometimes that is the case because I'm trying to remember like what it is I wanted to speak about. Don't forget, when you go live, these videos are attached to a longer theme of whatever it is that I'm doing on the channel. So I do music, but I also do the fashion because I sell things online. And I actually started a label, but it got a little complicated, right? So I just make stuff now at this stage. Right, okay. But this is a very small space. So what you're seeing here is a room, okay? This is like, I don't know how big this room is. This is a small space. Okay, so one section is the bedroom area where you see the bed. But I also repurpose it for making things. Like this table over here is actually one of the paintings that I did a while ago. Okay, and this is great for cutting material and making the patterns because it's a flat surface and it's not too high. I have a permanent injury on my leg, so my leg has, I have complications. So I've had to find ways to maneuver myself on a daily basis so it doesn't look like crazy. So I look like I'm sort of sane, but I'm not. My movement, because I have to get up and down like regularly. It's like, if I sit too long, it's like a problem. If I stand too long, it's also a problem. So I need to have a balance in my life now. Okay. Now that I've spoken about the fashion, Poshmark. I don't know if people around the world have Poshmark. You probably have eBay. I don't have eBay. But Poshmark is a little bit more, I think it's a little bit more zhuzhy. There's like a lot of zhuzhy stuff that's going on right now with Poshmark. This is Poshmark. It is very nice. They've updated the whole thing. And they've made it look very, it looks very Vogue. They used the Vogue font. The font that they've used is based off of the Vogue font, and it just looks fantastic. I really do like what they've done here. They've updated it. Now I need to update the way mine looks, right? So that's part of the parcel here. Seller's tools. This is where I generally generate my daily income, but I also need to use it for, like, I need to post things daily. Like, it's not just a let's have some fun, it's like I need to post at least 5 a day. So when I produce things, I need to make sure that I'm producing it for the purpose of selling. Whether I'm painting something, this is one of my paintings too. All right. I'm just flattening the design there, but this is my painting as well. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that. A lot of the writing is there. Okay, that car. Painting that I did, it's almost the same size as the other ones that I did. Also another flat surface. I don't think I can make this into like a table. It's too thin. And the glass is quite thin too. So I wouldn't take a chance on that. This would just be a wall piece, right? Okay, let's go to the music now. Oh, no. Let's not go to the music. Let's talk a little bit about, oh, it's warm, this light. I have a light. There's a light here that's kind of keeping me. So yeah, this is what I do. I make stuff, I knit. One of these takes me about an hour to do, depends on the size. Okay, so this is a knitted piece. I'll show you the layouts. Let me just see if I can find it on here. Knit. Okay, so this is the layout, right? This is what it looks like when I take a photograph on a wall over there. Okay, so you can take a look at how I do this. These are the images I use to sell my pieces, okay? So I'm not just doing this for fun. This is something that I actually earn money with, right, guys? This is what I'm dealing with here, okay? This is other cards that I've drawn. I think somebody else has this piece, and then a family member has that one. And this is the one that's on the floor over there. But I like how the layout, I'll show you the layout. If you've never seen what the layout looks like for Poshmark, this is what I need to do every day. So I need 5 pieces a day to actually present, right? And then there are other people that do similar things. I don't think too many people are knitting wired pieces. So this is very unusual, even found on Poshmark. This is not a common format. And I was doing a lot of this stuff. I made like shirts and stuff at one point out of wire knit. I haven't done it recently because it took too long. It takes too long to do. But I think, yeah, that's another one of mine. Okay. But I like the format. It looks very magazine-like. I really do like how Poshmark has really upgraded their look into like a Vogue type of look, right? Yeah. And projects that I've done in the past. Oh, an exhibition? This is an exhibition. You can find this on my website as well. Oh, I haven't actually technically, let's do that right now. So I sell stuff online. I also have a Wix, Wix, which is the website. Wix and YouTube work really well. Once I have a little more going on, I might use that as like a storefront as well. Let me go on to my YouTube. I forgot to put, let me just go on here. I have sections talking about the fashion and stuff, but I also, here, we'll do the music now. Hold on. Sorry, folks. I had a little bit of a, I don't know, I felt a little dizzy for a few moments. Okay. So I'm going to move you down to the music section. Here we go. Music corner. Okay. So now we're going to switch over to music. So within the space that I have, I can do like multiple things, but I've had to separate the sections because, yeah, when you start like a project, we don't have like a building. Like the ideas that I had to start from somewhere. And when you start from somewhere, you have to start from home. So that's basically it. And my family is in South Africa. They don't live with me. So when I moved back to the States with my partner, who's lived here all his life, and I've also lived here, but I lived overseas as well. We needed a place to stay, so we ended up renting out, and we're still renting this small apartment. But I had things in my mind that I wanted to do, right? So it's not just for the sake of doing it. It's for stuff that I actually had done in the past. I've put projects together. I don't know if it's project management, events planning, successful shows. At one point for my master's, we had over 500 people showing up at the performance. Lots of things. Okay, so, and now you see the other side, the music. Okay. Let me just move this over here. So that music that you're hearing in the background is something I also produced, okay? I should technically work on the other piece, but I haven't done that recently. Okay, so now you see the production side. This is the production side. You've seen the fashion section, the textile section, and the music section. They're eventually, like one day, I wanted to eventually have like a proper like space where I could hire people. I don't know. Like this takes a lot of planning. I don't know. It's a lot of work. But at one point I tried to hire people in South Africa to do projects, and in the end nobody did the work. So I don't know. Like, will it be different here? I don't know. I don't know if it will be different. So I ended up doing everything myself most of the time, right? That is how I ended up doing everything by myself, because nobody was prepared to do the work. They wanted the recognition, but they never wanted to put the effort into it, which was a problem. When you start doing stuff, you have to prove that you can do it, right? That is like key number one. I'm going to go into tracks. I don't know. Should I start a new track? I don't know if I want to start a new track. Let's go into, oh gosh, sorry guys. It's like a heated problem here. The anime piece, we can rework, close. What is going on here? Why are we having, what just happened? This is a recent one I did work on. Still need to put the vocals. It's not a great vocal part. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. So I've switched over to the music side. You can now see that I'm kind of, when my mind works on stuff, I work on different projects at different times. People wonder what the heck is going on with her. But I have certain things that I need to do during the day. So when I do things during the day, I have to like have a methodical plan. Yeah, I need to work on it. And that's through a mic. So I'm doing everything myself. I don't have anybody. This is me, okay? But today is the first day I'm actually showing everybody how I kind of brainstorm stuff. And then maybe one day if I have a space. This was like the architectural design, right? This is the blueprint. Looking from above, how I would separate rooms basically for each particular section. Like you'd have a music production section and a fashion section. And I don't know if there's a fashion house and a music production house in one, but that was my general plan. I suppose this might be considered that on a very, 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 very small scale. But not everybody does both. So yeah, that's just like how it is right now, right? Okay. And then I was talking about TikTok. You can, like, I'm about global stuff, right? So I'm all about global kind of content.
Not yet.
Global content. And what happens with global content is I try to find things that are like international, and things like TikTok and Facebook. They're sort of like global spaces, and I know that everybody around the world has a global space, right? YouTube's a good example. And because I lived in so many different countries, I just feel as if it does bring us together, but there's always this confusion on how things work, because you're just seeing it from this perspective. You're not seeing it from going into the space and kind of observing. It's just different, I guess. And I was talking about subscriptions on YouTube are like the follow on the rest of the apps. When you subscribe on places like I don't use it my TikTok at all. But subscription, that's when you start having to pay. I don't know if you guys can see it from that side, but that's when you pay on the other apps. I don't use it. I've never had anybody like pay for like any subscriptions. But YouTube is definitely it's free at this level, right? When people are being introduced to my channel, the subscription is free. As my mom was talking to me about that. She's like, I don't want to subscribe to your channel. This is her. I don't want to subscribe to your channel because I have to pay. I was like, no, Facebook you pay, and then TikTok you pay, but YouTube you don't pay. So my mom is conflicting. She's not sure how to handle it. That's called the older generation. I'm a tech savvy person. I like to do technology stuff. I've had to learn to maneuver my way around things. That's just the whole process, right? Yeah. Okay. Maybe I work a little bit on a new track. We'll see. Ooh, what's this? It's been a long day. And then once upon a time, SoundCloud used to be free too. Before you could have so much access back in 2005 or 2006 when they first came out. I was learning the ropes. Before all the other apps came about, I think I was using MySpace and SoundCloud to learn how to build stuff, and then it was WordPress. I learned how to build my own WordPress. After that, while I was in my master's program, they didn't teach that in school, okay? They didn't teach how to build a site in school because I don't know why they didn't do that for the arts, but they didn't. So I had to I taught myself how to build sites. You can learn. I think it's important to learn the process. I don't think anybody should shy away from it. I think it's something that's very much needed as a world of change. Okay. And these photographs I took, I did some graphic design. These are my photoshopped photo images, right? I took the photographs and then I did the Photoshop. This is a real photograph and this is a real photograph. Okay. And then I learned how to put all the sections together. SoundCloud. So you can log in and see what I'm doing on all the apps, right? I mean, I don't really spend that much time doing things. I've already set it up a long time ago. I've been putting this together for since 2006. I've been working on this. This is not an overnight thing. This takes years. This kind of stuff takes years. It is not a right away thing, right? And then this. Each skill, and I don't have any kids. I didn't think that, oops, no, I don't want to go there. Ooh! Okay, I don't want to adjust anything right now. Okay. Let's go back into, where was I? Where was I? Oh, that's the back end of the, okay. WordPress. WordPress, you have to learn the back end. The back end of WordPress is basically technical, right? I learned how to do all this stuff before anything kind of happens here. What the heck? Oh, I haven't done this in a while. Okay. So the WordPress is like let me just see. MySpace. Okay. So I've linked all my stuff to my sites, from SoundCloud to my other YouTube channel that I don't really use. It was mainly for students. Amazon, my books, resume, Poshmark. It's like literally all there. But I've linked everything together. I don't know if other people know how to do that, but I've figured out how to make it happen. So I may eventually talk about how people can do this. It took me years. It took